Hello and welcome to Daytona International Speedway for the running of the Daytona 500. This is going to be the first ever points race of the Sunoco Cup Series. 10 of America's best are here to make history. Are you able to say that you won the first ever race of the Sunoco Cup Series? Here's your key to the race presented by Premi Video, where you can find all the Amazon Cup Series races. So temperatures today will be 85 to 93 degrees. Another thing today, you're going to need to be able to find your tandem partners, either your teammates or your manufacturer teammates like we saw in the Budweiser shootout, and you need to survive to the end if you want to win this race. Let's head to our starting lineup. Here's your starting lineup. Row 1 is going to be Kasey Kahne and Kevin Harvick. Row 2 is going to be Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kurt Busch. Row 3, Matt Kenseth, Jimmie Johnson. Row 4, Ryan Newman, Kyle Busch, and the final row is going to be Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart. And let's go racing. And here we go. Pace car pulls off, and here they go. The Daytona 500 takes the green flag. It was Kasey Kahne who led the field to green, but here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. for the lead. Junior Nation goes wild in the grandstands. Kasey Kahne moves up to the top side, trying to get help from Kevin Harvick. As Dale Earnhardt Jr., he's going to get help from Matt Kenseth on the bottom, but both of them aren't quite getting pushed yet, as they come off turn 4 for the first time today. And to the flag, Kenseth moves up to the middle, and it's going to be Dale Earnhardt Jr. leading the first ever lap of the Sunoco Cup Series. First ever lap in a points-paying race. As Kurt Busch gives his former teammate a push, trying to get Matt Kenseth to the lead. But leading laps will actually matter now. It didn't really matter in the Bud shootout since that wasn't for points. But leading the most laps in a race awards 5 points. So that's something we need to think about throughout the race. But here comes Matt Kenseth. He's on the outside of Earnhardt Jr., but he gets help from Ryan Newman. Ryan Newman was not in the Budweiser shootout, so this is the first time we're seeing him in the Sunoco Cup Series. So we go on board with Matt Kenseth. He's getting a huge run on the front straightaway. Almost got to the outside of the 88. So he got a push from Kasey Kahne, our pole sitter. I think Matt Kenseth, he's probably going to have a good season, as Kurt Busch got a little loose. Car's definitely not handling the best. But here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s teammate of Jeff Gordon. In only 2 laps, he's worked his way up to second, and he's trying to get the lead. He's getting help from Ryan Newman, but he now moves down to the middle, or to the bottom. And those are the drivers who failed to qualify for the race. So yes, in the Sunoco Cup Series, we do have D&Qs. And the roster is really based off the 2009 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series point standing or roster. But it's really just, the stars of the series. But Jeff Gordon, he's trying to take the lead away from his teammate on the top side. But he does not have help from Kasey Kahne. But Dale Earnhardt Jr. has help from Ryan Newman on the bottom. He gets a ways out in front. Here comes Newman with a push from Kyle Busch. He's going to get to the inside of the 18, but right now does not have any help, as the 18 moved up to the middle to help the 88. 88 now moves up all the way towards the wall to try to get help from his teammate, Jeff Gordon. And the 39 now moves into the middle lane to go on board with him. And Ryan Newman is going to become the first driver not named Earnhardt Jr. to lead a lap in the Daytona 500. And here comes Jimmie Johnson. Jimmie Johnson absolutely dominated the Budweiser shootout, and here he is trying to take the lead of the race on the bottom with help from Kurt Busch. Now the 39 moves up towards the top. There's a line of Chevrolets in that top lane. 24, 88, now 39. As the 48 doesn't have a Chevy pushing him. As 88 really gets connected with the 39 there, but Jimmie Johnson, he led about 15 or 14 laps in the Budweiser shootout, and he's trying to lead more today. Fans have seen a lot of the 48 here at Daytona so far. Here they come. They're going to be side by side coming to the line, and it's going to be Newman who leads the lap. And And here's Kyle Busch. He's been as low as 9th, currently 4th, trying to help that 39. As he's getting pushed from by Matt Kenseth. Johnson now moves up into the middle lane to get help from a fellow Chevy. And if that too somehow got shuffled out of the way, it would be the 14, 29, and 48 on the bottom lane. But that's probably not going to happen, as Kurt Busch, he's on the bottom and he's going for the lead of the race. Johnson doesn't have help unless he moves up towards into the middle lane or into the top lane to get help from Newman. But Johnson, he's going to lead that lap. That's his first lap led today. As Kurt Busch gets a push from Kevin Harvick, and that's going to push him out into the front. No one's really connected right now. Probably the 9 and 14 are probably going to get connected here. But yeah, the field just working their way off of turn 4 as we're on board with Kevin Harvick, that Pennzoil machine. As the 2 moved up into the middle lane, they're looking to go 4 wide here, Kyle Busch. Okay, now they don't go 4 wide. They were almost 4 wide for a second. But here comes the 14. Those 2 Chevys are the 29 and 14. I was talking about if the 2 would get shuffled out of line. Obviously, the 48's not leading the line. But Kevin Harvick, he's the odds-on favorite to win this race, as Kurt Busch barely led the lap over Harvick. He's going to move up to the middle to try and side draft. But that's not going to be a good move long-term, as he has no help right now in the middle lane. As Kyle Busch, he's also lost his help in the middle lane for Matt Kenseth. The top lane has the most energy, 39 into the 48 to the 2. That's going to shoot the 2 of Kurt Busch way out in front of the pack. The 2 is definitely going to want to control the lanes, try to lead as many laps as he can, to hopefully get the most laps led award and get those 5 bonus points. And here they coming to lap 9, as we've completed 8 laps today. Here comes the 9 and 14. Those 2 are pretty good friends off the racetrack. Casey Kane and Tony Stewart. He's our pole sitter. He's currently 4th. He was as low as 10th. He was in last position earlier, but he's quickly been able to work his way back up into the top 5. As now the middle lane is the lane with the energy, as we just saw the top lane, or the third lane up against the wall. That lane had the most energy just a lap ago. Here's Tony Stewart. He started last. He's been as high as 1st, and now he's running in 2nd. As Harvick gets a huge push from Kyle Busch. 48, he's helping the 2. And the 48 or the 29 is going to lose all his help as the 18 moves up into the middle or into the top lane. 14 thought he was about to block 29, but he did not. As we're now 10 laps into the race, here's Tony Stewart. He's trying to get more pushes from Casey Kane to try and take the lead of the race from Kurt Busch. Busch does not block. And here comes the 14. Gets a huge push from the 9. And Tony Stewart's going to take the lead of the race here. But for how long? Casey Kane, the pole sitter, is going to continue to push the 14 down the back straightaway. The 2 now has help from the 29 as the 24. Huge push to the 9. Does the 9 stay in line? Yes, he does. And now, after pushing the 14, he moves up. And the 14 moves up into the middle to block the 9. And here we're going to go on board with Kevin Harvick. This is the Pennzoil on-board camera that we've seen before. And here comes Matt Kenseth. He's trying to take the lead of the race here. So we go on board with him through turns 1 and 2. But now the 9 has help from the 29 in the middle lane. Now the 9 moves up to the middle or to the top lane for really no reason, as he's going to have no help up there. The 14, he now moves all the way up towards the top lane to get help from the 9. So those 2 have been working very well. The 14 was working very well with the 48 in the Budweiser shootout. And here comes the Hendrick boys. Jeff Gordon, well, there was a little bit of contact. That was Harvick. I think he made a little bit of contact with Casey Kane as they're about to go 4 wide. And yes, they are 4 wide. Into turns 1 and 2, it's going to get tight. They do not make contact, but they are 4 wide through turns 1 and 2. That's the 9, 29, 18, and 88. Or now, instead of the 88, now the 39. And the 18 should be clear to make a move behind behind the 39. But Jeff Gordon, while we were watching that, Jeff Gordon has taken the lead of the race after getting help from his teammate of Dale Earnhardt Jr. And there's the laps led today. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has led the most laps in 3, but he's tied with Kurt Busch, who's currently running in 10th. As he moves up towards the wall to get help from the 14 of Tony Stewart. Will they be able to make the pass with the lead? Well, Earnhardt got the wall bit. He's not going to wreck as we go on board with him. The National Guard onboard camera. So here he comes. He's getting a huge push from the 14. He's going to get to the back bumper of his teammate, but he's not going to be able to make the pass there. And I don't really know what the preferred lanes, what the preferred lane is at this track. Like, obviously, you can get some really big runs on the top lane, but at the same time, the bottom, it's pretty good for making passes, especially if you get linked up. As here comes Kyle Busch. He just doored the 14 off turn 4. Probably got a little tight. Gordon continues to lead. Newman's trying to take the lead back. But yeah, that was... I think the 18 just got a huge push from the 48. But next weekend, we're at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the DirecTV 400. So we'll like to see you there. That's going to be, I'm pretty sure, July 31st. And here comes the 17 giving a push to the 14. No clue why the 39 did not stay in the middle to get help from his teammate. As they're going to go 3 by 3 through turns 3 and 4. 39's getting help from the 18. And Ryan Newman takes back the lead. But the top is probably going to have a run. Those two Hendrick Motorsport teammates of Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr. have been working well together. 48 pushes the 18 and the 39, and that's going to shoot them way out in front of the pack. And Ryan Newman said before he was not in the Budweiser shootout, and he's trying to prove to everyone that you can compete, and probably should have been in the Budweiser shootout. That's what he's trying to prove. As we call on board with a bunch of drivers, so I guess we're just switching camera angles now. And here comes the 48 of Jimmy Johnson around the bottom. He got a huge push from the 2 of Kurt Busch. He's going to try to take the lead from Ryan Newman as they come off turn 4. Newman into the middle. Oh, and there they go. Newman turned in front of the 18. Both the 48 and 39 were trying to go into the middle lane. And Tony Stewart and Matt Kenseth are involved in that crash. Let's go ahead and see the replay. And here we are on board with the 39. Comes off turn 4. He moves up into the top lane. And then he tries to move down into the middle. And the 48 at the same time was trying to move into the middle. And both of them going for the same piece of real estate. So both of them will crash. And then the 14 of Tony Stewart also got tagged. Let's see what happened to him. So he's going through turns 3 and 4 behind his teammate. 39 got into the wall bit. And then both of them try to go into the middle lane at the same time, and it just looks like he just gets tagged by the 39, and then he collects the 17, who spins down to the inside and makes some contact with Casey Kane. So let's go on board with the 17. Let's see what he saw. Those two collide. He's beyond the 14. He has literally nowhere to go, and then the 14 hits the wall, and that sends the 17 down, spinning to the inside. But we'll be back right after this quick break.
Love it when it's fast. Love it when the leader's call, the pack is moving past. Love it when they're making lots and lots of noise. Can't wait to hear the double say, boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys. Let's go racing, boys.
So next week we'll be in Sin City, where both the Busch brothers are from. As we take the green flag, we're back underway. A huge push to the 2 from the 88. 48 goes around, and so does the 88. They spin down into turns 1 and 2. That was pretty crazy. Let's get a replay. So here we are on board with the 2 of Kurt Busch. He gets a huge push from the 88. Almost turned his brother, and then he has nowhere to go, and he spins out the 48. But we'll be back real quick. Join the used car marketplace dealership Discord server. Endless possibilities. And here we go. The two Busch brothers on the front row, and we're back underway. 9 laps to go here at Daytona. There's only 2 Dodges in this race, being the 9 and the 2, Kasey Kahne and Kurt Busch. And there's only 1 Toyota in this race, that being Kyle Busch, who's forced out into the 3rd lane by Kasey Kahne. And here comes Kevin Harvick. He's trying to take the lead of the race from Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch, he's led the most laps today. Those caution laps definitely helped him. And he's most likely going to get the most laps led award. And here comes the 29 to the inside of the 2. They're going to be side by side through turns 3 and 4. And off 4, 29's got to push. There's 3 Chevrolets lined up on that bottom lane, being the 29, 24, and 48. But Busch, he's going to lead that lap as we take 8 laps to go. And here we go, down into turns 1 and 2. 2 has no help from that 9 car right now. So 29, he's going to get out in front of the 2 car. And here comes the 2 Hendrick teammates of the 24 and 48. They're trying to make a charge past the 29. Now both lanes, they're getting lined up. They're going to be 2 by 2, both lanes. Here comes the 24 to the lead of the race. The top lane's more connected, as I say that the 2 decides to move up into the 3rd lane to try and get help from his brother, who's a ways behind, a car length behind the 2. So Jeff Gordon now takes the lead of the race. Harvick, he has no help right now. He would have help if the 2 didn't move up into the top lane. But here comes, Earnhardt Jr., he was on the apron for whatever reason, probably a little loose going into the corner. But Jeff Gordon, he won the Budweiser shootout, and he's trying to sweep Speed Weeks here, winning the Budweiser shootout. Obviously, to not win his Gatorade duel, as he moves away from his teammate as soon as the 48 gets a push. And the 29, he leaves the 24. So Jimmy Johnson now takes the lead of the race as we come to 6 laps to go. That's almost contact. The 17, extremely tight and loose off turn 4, and the 9 gets a huge run as he almost made contact with the 29. Almost door slammed. Whoa, the 48 on 2 wheels. And that gave him a huge run. For whatever reason, that was, I've never seen anything like that. The 48, he's going to continue to lead after slamming that wall and getting on 2 wheels. 17, he moves up into the middle to get help from the 9. That's going to push him towards the 48. Does he make a move for the lead? He tried to go to the top. The 24 was there. So he moves to the bottom lane, and he's going to get help from Kasey Kahne. He's going to now move into the middle lane, trying to side draft the 48. But it's going to be Kenseth who's going to lead the lap. Maybe no. Yes, he does. Matt Kenseth's going to lead that lap, and I think that's his first lap led of the race. And here comes the 29. He got to push on the 2, and he's to the back bumper of the 48. And see if they'll be able to mount a charge and get by the 17 off turn 2 with a run. On board with the 48, that Chevrolet on board. As they've got to run, they're slowly inching their way up the outside of the 17. But the bottom's way more connected than the top lane, because that lane's just split up with cars in the middle and on the top. But the 17 of Matt Kenseth, he's forced into the middle lane by Kasey Kahne. And here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's going to shove the 9 out in front. I think this is Kasey Kahne's first laps led since... Well, I think, yeah, he didn't lead the first lap, so these might be his first laps led in the race, I'm pretty sure. And they come off turn 2. He's going to move up into the middle lane with no help. So here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's going to try to take the lead of the race and possibly win. Now the 9 moves up to the top, but the 17 is not going to push him. As I say that, he moves back up to the top. And now the 9 moves into the middle. And now he moves up back to the top. And the 17's back in the middle. And now the 18, he moves into the middle. He's going to get a push from the 17, and he's going to try and take the lead of the race from Dale Earnhardt Jr. That was a great move by the 18 to take the lead, but he does not have help from his brother of Kurt Busch, who's now going to help the 88 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and try to get him out to the lead. And Junior shoved up into the middle lane by Kurt Busch, and now Kurt Busch on the bottom is going to try to take the lead of the race. Coming to 2 laps to go. Fields all connected 3 by 3 for the lead. Earnhardt Jr., he's pushed out front by Matt Kenseth as they work their way through 3 and 4. So Dale Earnhardt Jr., he's going to lead this lap as we come to 2 laps to go. As it's going to be 3 wide for second position between the 18, 17, and 2. 2 laps to go here. This is basically the end of the race, so all bets are off. Here comes the 2, Kurt Busch. He's got help from the 24 and 29. All those drivers, all those numbers starting with a 2. As the 24 gives a huge push to the 2, and he's going to take the lead of the race. And the 24, his teammate of Dale Earnhardt Jr. was leading, and now Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to take back the lead of the race, as Jeff Gordon is now on the bottom, Kurt Busch in the middle, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. up against the wall. And here they come off turn 4, coming to the white flag. And here they come, white flags in the air, as the 17 gives a huge push out to the 2. That's going to push the 2 way out front of both the top lane and the bottom lane. He moves up and out in front of the 88 to try to get that run, as he does. And now he moves back into the middle lane, on board with Dale Earnhardt Jr. down the back straightaway. Can Kurt Busch win? On board with the 2, down the back straightaway for the final time and into turns 3 and 4. Can the bottom lane, Jeff Gordon, mount a charge? 88 continues to push the 2. And here they come off turn 4 for the final time. The 24 door slams his teammate of Dale Earnhardt Jr., but it's going to be Kurt Busch winning the Daytona 500. And this is what occurred off turn 4. Jeff Gordon just door slams Dale Earnhardt Jr. for no reason. That slowed him down, and he loses like 3 positions. So yeah. So it's Kurt Busch winning the race. Dale Earnhardt Jr. finishes 2nd. Kevin Harvick 3rd. Matt Kenseth 4th. And Kyle Busch riding out the top 5. 6th is Jeff Gordon. 7th is Jimmy Johnson. 8th Casey Kane. And the 2 Stewart-Haas racing teammates of Tony Stewart and Ryan Newman are the 2 only DNFs. And here's your point standings after race 1. Kurt Busch has a 20-point lead over Dale Earnhardt Jr. as you get 75 points for winning and then an extra 5 points for leading the most laps, which Kurt Busch did. And then looking at the chase cut line, Kyle Busch has a 5-point gap over Jeff Gordon. And here's the second page. Tony Stewart and Ryan Newman, both DNF'd, and then 11th through 16th, all DNQ'd. So that's Juan Pablo Montoya, Greg Biffle, Jeff Burton, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, and Carl Edwards. Those are the DNQs, and DNQing gives you 5 points. I hope you enjoyed today's race, and we'll see you next weekend for Las Vegas.
Lead company, Chase Elliott is a NASCAR Cup Series champion.